Thank God for the utter mess that is these characters. Seriously, the chaos and imperfections are what make it so great. They'll randomly make decisions that completely blow up in their faces or refuse to communicate, and somehow it all still works. Peak TV right there. I mean, Owen having yet another messy marriage. Comedy gold. Watching people go through all this chaotic, dramatic nonsense and somehow find a bit of happiness in the end. That's the sweet spot. Honestly, embracing the soap opera vibe of Grey's just makes the whole experience 10 times more fun. But let's be real, I had to stop watching eventually. How many times did Owen get married? Christina, Amelia, Teddy, anyone else? At some point, you'd think he'd just give up on weddings altogether. Till death do us part starts to feel a little hollow after the third or fourth go-round, right? But yeah, that's why I'll be watching Grey's till the sun implodes. Because if nothing else, it's the gift that keeps on giving. Richard Webber has honestly been a comedic gem on Grey's Anatomy. His one-liners, facial expressions, and perfect timing consistently steal the show, even when the storylines around him can be a bit lackluster. The show doesn't always have the best humor, but when it does, Richard's the reason. From gems like "You Just Did Ginger" to the hilarious "All Up in the Bug Juice," "You Don't Know the Flavor," "Woman" when he's sparring with Catherine, Richard's wit is unmatched. And let's not forget his iconic moments with Arizona. The man's out there hitting lesbian bars with her, helping her pick up women. What a legend. His gossipy side? 10 tenths. I live for those moments when he's all ears for the latest gossip. But my absolute favorite, when Ella Montgomery and Samantha Maselli asked him to plug a woman back in, and his flawless reply was, "Well, it's a little too late for that." Absolutely killed me. Richard aka Giulio Plantain is truly the king of delivering a line with absolute perfection. How can people still like Owen? It's not even about personal opinions at this point. It's just facts. He was downright hateful to Christina when she told him she didn't want to have a baby. And then he had the audacity to imply that their whole relationship was meaningless without kids. Basically saying, if you don't want to have this baby, then you don't love me. Like, come on, there's no other way to interpret that. It was a total emotional manipulation move. And then, oh yeah, he goes and cheats on her, as if that wasn't enough of a betrayal. And I'm supposed to believe he's a great guy? In terms of teaching, okay, I'll give him that, but we're not talking about his teaching right now. I must have hit a nerve with the Owen fans, though, because suddenly, my replies are getting downvoted into oblivion. Look, I'll admit, he's good at running the ER, and fine, he can teach. But when it comes to his personal life, especially with Christina, it's an utter disaster. Yes, he was a strong surgeon and all that, but his emotional intelligence, non-existent. I can respect his professional abilities, but you can't just ignore the fact that he hurt a ton of people, Christina being at the top of that list. I haven't watched after Christina left, but even if we take out his ridiculous baby drama, which, by the way, made no sense with his character, their relationship did have some really good moments. He was genuinely caring in certain instances, and I miss those times too. But his actions when it came to her choice were just completely out of line, and honestly unrealistic for his character. Oh, Arizona, Arizona, Arizona. So, was she right for telling Jackson that April was pregnant? Absolutely not. Not even a little bit. The way I see it, Arizona couldn't resist the urge to get involved in April's personal business, because that's her mo. Control, control, control. As a doctor, she seriously messed up, and as a friend? Well, she might have thought she was doing the right thing, but she was way out of line. First off, it wasn't her place to tell Jackson anything. April had every right to take her time telling him on her own terms. She wasn't hiding it, she just needed some space to process what happened with her last pregnancy. She wasn't ready to drop that bomb yet, and Arizona took that away from her. That was cruel. April had so little control in that situation, and the one thing she had left, how and when she told Jackson, Arizona ripped away from her. Now, Arizona's defense could be that she was just worried about her friend. Maybe she thought she was doing the right thing, but no. She didn't respect April's timeline, and frankly, it was incredibly rude. She could have stayed in her lane, pushed April to tell Jackson herself, and left it at that. But no, she had to cross that line. And let's not forget, professionally, she violated AIPAA, even if April told her as a friend. Doctor or not, Arizona should have kept her mouth shut. And let's talk about April's response. And I believe in this stuff, so understand how much I mean it when I tell you, go to hell. Honestly, that was perfect. You could feel how hurt and betrayed she was. April was being patient, she was holding her own, and Arizona just bulldozed over her. It's also interesting how Arizona talked to Callie and Bailey about it. Both of them were like, no, absolutely not, but Arizona still didn't seem to get it. She really had a hard time grasping why what she did was wrong, and that's frustrating. Now, I can see the argument that Arizona was trying to help as a friend. Maybe she was just worried about how Jackson would react or how long April was going to keep this secret. But that doesn't excuse her overstepping. April was not asking for help in this, and Arizona was making a bigger mess of things than it needed to be. As for April telling her she was pregnant, yeah, I'm not totally clear on whether that was as a friend or a patient, but either way, Arizona should have known better. If it was a professional situation, huge HIPAA violation. If it was personal, she still had no right to share that info. Bottom line, Arizona might have been coming from a place of concern, but it was a huge mistake, both professionally and personally. The real screw-up came later when April told her patient's mom about the pregnancy. But in this moment, Arizona was 100% in the wrong. Oh, Izzy Stevens. She's out here giving a full-on, life-altering, motivational speech while George is literally hanging by a thread on the operating table. I mean, seriously, can you imagine? Your best friend, roommate, and ex-crush is almost dead, right after your dad just died, and you've just gone and married your girlfriend in Vegas. So naturally, what does Izzy do? She stands up and delivers this long, preachy speech about believing that everything's going to be okay. Super inspirational, right? But then, wait for it, she turns directly to George, who's just been through a traumatic experience, and goes, "You made a mistake, and I don't approve of your marriage." Like, really? Izzy, get a grip. George doesn't need you adding your personal judgment about his, now, wife when he's literally fighting for his life and dealing with a mess of his own. Her entire focus is on George's marriage to Callie, as if this is the perfect time to air her unsolicited opinions. Izzy's been off her rocker ever since Denny, but hey, it's just a show, right? I get that her behavior was absolutely wrong in that moment, but honestly, I think she kind of had a point about George and Callie's relationship not being all sunshine and rainbows. Owen Hunt. Listen closely, because I need to say this out loud. I despise him. Honestly, there's something seriously rotten in that man. And yet, in some twisted way, I pity him. His obsession with being loved, it's like a disease. He claws at others, drags them into his mess of emotions, demanding affection like it's the cure for something he can't even identify. It's manipulative, sure, but I don't even think he realizes what he's doing. He's not some villain plotting behind the scenes. No, Owen's more like a ghost, a hollow shell of a man, aching and desperate. He clings to love like it's his only lifeline, but in doing so, he smothers everyone around him. No one really sees him for who he is. No one truly loves him, and honestly, that's the cruelest part of all. What do you see when you look at him? Christina? She probably loved him in her own way, but she didn't want the same things he did. And that's where it all fell apart. What Christina really loved, what she needed, was surgery. And that was always going to come first. Lexi and Alex broke up because, honestly, Alex just couldn't handle anything or anyone after the trauma of the shooting. The guy was already emotionally shut down from being shot, lying in an elevator in his own blood for what felt like hours. The last thing he wanted was to deal with anyone else's emotional turmoil. Enter Lexi, who, let's be real, was going through her own breakdown after the shooting. She wasn't crazy in a literal sense. She just needed sleep and support. But Alex, ever the emotionally unavailable guy, didn't want to give either. It wasn't that he was ever all in with Lexi to begin with. He wasn't in love with her, not in the way she wanted. She was a convenient companion for him after Izzy left, but that was pretty much it. So when things got tough, Alex bailed. He didn't want to handle Lexi's emotional chaos, which, let's be honest, wasn't that bad. She just needed some sleep, and he couldn't deal with his own issues either. It's classic Alex, emotionally distant, unable to handle real commitment. The time jump didn't help either. I get that they wanted to fast forward, but it felt like they abruptly broke up without enough explanation. The fact that he dumped Izzy for Lexi and was still sticking with her when she rejected Mark's advances makes it feel even weirder that they suddenly broke up. It was clear they were both willing to choose each other over their past loves, so why pull the rug out from under them? At the end of the day, Alex's inability to support his partners, and the fact that he never had to extend the same grace, understanding, or empathy he received, was a key part of why their relationship fell apart. It wasn't just that Lexi was crazy, because she really wasn't. It was more that Alex wasn't ready or capable of handling anything serious with anyone. And that's what makes him come off like an emotionally unavailable jerk. Silent all these years, Season 15, Episode 19, talk about an emotional roller coaster. I've seen the hallway scene with the women supporting Abby all over TikTok, but nothing prepared me for the full episode. I had to pause at one point because my 6-year-old was home, and I was about to drown in my own tears. The way they connected Joe's mom's story, Abby's story, and Ben's conversation with Tuck about consent, yeah, it hit hard. Honestly, it was one of the most gut-wrenching episodes I've ever seen. That hallway scene, I'm torn about it though. While a lot of people were moved by the episode, personally, I had a lot of mixed emotions. Honestly, most of them were negative. Knowing what I do behind the scenes now, yeah, that definitely affects how I view it. As a survivor myself, there were moments in that episode that felt, well, kind of distasteful. And Joe's treatment of her mom? I can't get behind it, whether as a survivor or someone who has personal experience with family being torn apart for the same reasons. But hey, if it was meaningful for others, that's great for them. I'm not here to invalidate their experience. I just have my own, and it's not quite as rosy. Guys, I'm seriously considering quitting this show. I'm on Season 4, Episode 7, and I am so frustrated. I mean, Han just flat out refuses to teach Christina and makes it clear she hates her for, like, absolutely no reason. What the hell? Then Lexi, oh, don't even get me started. I know this might be personal, but if Meredith says she doesn't want a relationship, why is it so hard for people to just respect that? And yes, I've spoiled a bit of what's coming, so I know more drama is coming, but seriously, this is already too much.